Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna check very quickly other builds. I'm not a fan of this build. I just wanted to try it and it works, but it's not consistent because you lose a lot of HP. But since now we have like a ton of potions thanks to the infirmary, that doesn't really matter anymore. You can just use the potions, revive your characters, and continue doing your thing. So, for this we have a core of Emily and Spinel, and there's three possible. On the third floor there are three possible options to use. I'm going to use Felicia. So let's check the core very quickly. The core revolves around making Spinel the absolute damage. So, as you can see, I already maxed her out. So, these are her stats. I have a weapon at S5, 5 out of 5, plus 13. This one is 1 out of 5, plus 0. I got both weapons. I got lucky on some other rolls and I got both weapons, but they are just filler. I'm going to wait to get the limited pack weapon. And if you hear something weird, it's maybe a sneeze because I'm sick, just so that you know. Let's see. So obviously we're using anti-demon here. And we are using crystal shard burst, piercing thirst, and demonic arm detonate. So the three of these are going to increase my damage. This one by 30%, this one by 10%, this one by 10%. This one only lasts for 5 seconds, the other ones are for 2 seconds. So the combo is crystal, then pierce, then demonic. Demonic arm detonate. And for this, we're using Kana on the main to get advantage of all those buffs and get extra damage, and also to be able to activate another buff. I also have Kirara here, but if I'm not mistaken, Kirara gives a debuff, so I want to abuse Kana. Kirara is super great on Spinel because she's going to give HP recovery, and she also gives damage to demons. And Arabella, generic good, you know, as usual. Then the other piece of this core is going to be Emily, which is going to be Blue Emily. Mine, as you can see, is level 81, so I still have to improve her. Both weapons are 5 out of 5. This is plus 14 and this is plus 13. Obviously, I use a Demonite on this one, and I bought the pack, so that's why it's 5 out of 5. I'm using Anti-Demon, but this is very important to use the All Wind to get the speed increase on range attacks, because the basic attacks are range attacks, and the more combos you make, the more stacks you're gonna get of the buff that comes from the weapon. It is pretty good. We're going with Blue Emily. She's gonna have Healing Field, just to help Spinel, because Spinel needs that. Gravity Hold to have her own HP recovery, and Ground Shock. You can change Ground Shock for Homing Bullet. I prefer Homing Bullet over Aegis Tackle. Aegis Tackle is not bad, but Emily's range, so you don't want to get near the enemy. But I'm using this because here I don't have many defense reduction debuffs on this build specifically, or with these partners, so I use Ground Shocker. Not that it's the best, but it works. And here I'm using Felicia to get even more HP recovery and also a huge damage increase and damage reduction on when I heal. I'm using the other Arabella. I hope that you got both copies. It is really important to have both copies of Arabella. She's really valuable for this. And I'm using, of course, Uraru. Let's say you don't have any of those. What else can you use? Well, you can go tanky. You can use Akina. You can use Murasaki. She's also good. For Spinel, you can use Hebico. She's great. if you have enough debuffs, you can use Micah. You can use like new Lightning Yukikase. That's also an option, even though I didn't recommend to get this. Maybe someone has it. And it is just another filler option. You can use this if you want on Emily, but I do not recommend. At least not specifically on this one. You want the HP recovery because of the bleed. So why Emily if she isn't that good here? Basically because of the buff, to give even more buffs to Spinel. And the third slot is going to fulfill different roles depending on what character you're using. In the case of Felicia, she's going to fulfill the role of a debuffer as well as a healer. She also has anti-demon. In this case, I'm not getting tanky Felicia, but rather damage Felicia. And she is going to go green. Usually it's better to go blue, but I'm using 6 good blue supporters on the other 2, so that's why I'm going green. It's because I don't have enough blue. So here we're gonna use Bloodsight to get HP recovery. We're gonna use Vampiric Zone to heal Spinel, and Slaying Spree to decrease the speed of the enemy. Here we're using Ichika on the main to poison the enemy and get the damage reduction. Felicia is already going to easily debuff the enemy, which means she can poison the enemy with Hebico. And a little bit of damage reduction. So it is like tanky offensive, this build, and it works. It works really well. So let's test this one. As I mentioned, you can die with this. Or maybe you end the stage and you lost a ton of HP. So it is not the best because as good as Spinel is, you want to use her with double White Feather Aska with for control. It is really difficult not to use it. And another disadvantage of this strategy, it is best to use Astaroth against Queen Arachne because you can easily reposition yourself and just avoid the Queen Arachne's attacks. Unlike melee attackers who are going to take the hit and are going to get speed reduction. As you may see in the runs, Spinel is going to, well, get a ton of speed reduction, unfortunately. And the combos I mentioned is to hold attack, then dash attack, and then double dash. Come on. Oh, it's because she's already dead. I see. Yeah, pretty easy, pretty good. But risky. That's the problem with this, but now that we have the infirmary, it's available. And you can activate the effect on the active at the last moment to get more damage. Yeah, that's pretty good. Because you get a buff and the buff gives you more damage on Kana. So yeah, that's one. The other option is to use Murasaki. Let's go with Murasaki. If you go with Murasaki, Murasaki is going to be your tank and debuffer here, and also healer. Okay, I'm going to do this, and obviously you want to use the weapon, the reindeer weapon, the Christmas weapon. It's plus 13, 5 out of 5. I hope you got it. It's pretty good. Of course, I have anti-demon. The other is plus 5, plus, no, it's 5 out of 5 plus 13 with more whatever Magatamas. Tentacle Hold to restore HP. Tentacle Mine to reduce the speed, but most importantly the defense of the enemy. And great axe input to restore HP. Pretty good, pretty good. Now, let's talk about this. Obviously, you want Misaki on the main so that she becomes a healer. And you get the damage. I'm using Ichika because it's going to take advantage of Heaviko and it's going to poison, so I'm gonna get the defense effect here. But let's say that you don't have Heaviko. You can use another really good option in Yachiyo. Yachiyo is going to make Murasaki as a pseudo healer. She's already a pseudo healer thanks to Misaki, but with Yachiyo, she's gonna improve that role. And if you don't want to use this one, you can change it for Hisui. Who else? Who else that's good? Basically, Hisui and Yachiyo are the other options. I would not recommend that you use this one, even on the sub slot. So yeah, let's test those. So obviously she's gonna be the counter and pseudo healer, which is pretty good on this, and she also deals a respectable amount of damage. Remember, these strategies are to tackle mid floors of VR, because even though it is supposed to be like super absurd damage, you don't have enough control over the enemy to do that without dying. With one hit, they're going to kill you. Yeah, like that. Pretty good, pretty nice. Nice. Oops. Be careful with your evades, as you can see. You want to take advantage of that super strong attack so that you deal more damage on the enemy and you end up killing them. And as you can see, I got a ton of attack buffs thanks to the Sledge of Blessings. So yeah, it is pretty good strategy, but depending on the effects on the stage, you may have troubles, especially against skill damage reduction. That's probably the worst effect that you can have on this strategy, because you won't have means to deal damage or increase your damage. So yeah, the last one is going to be with Shizuru. I save it here. So the original strategy, I'm gonna check it in a moment. So why Shizuru is so important? Because she also gives a buff with Rose Rondo on red with this weapon. That's why it's super important. You're gonna just melt the enemy. Damage against other demons, 5 out of 5 plus 14. The other one 5 out of 5 plus 15. Rose Rondo, whip shot, that it's going to decrease the defense of the enemy. And I was using whip grip, which also reduces the defense of the enemy. I really like that combo, but unfortunately it was just not viable. Shizuru was dying, so I had to drop that. If you have the 4th slot, you can use this one, but I had to change it for Sprout Garden to get HP recovery. And I was using White Feather Asuka, but if you don't have both Eleanor and Shizuru with White Feather Asuka on the main, then it's not viable enough. So instead, I change it for Shiranui, New Year Shiranui, and then I'm using Yukina and Susune. For this, is very rough. There are options to go a little bit defensive thanks to Major against machines and thanks to Shara against human. You can equip those to get a little bit more defense. In fact, I just leveled up. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sacrifice damage to get a little bit of defense. I just enchant Gal Lilim because she increases damage and also reduces damage taken, and I really need that damage reduction on the enemy. So yeah, so that she can survive and she works as a buffer for Spinel. That's the idea here. Obviously, it is nice if you can go control with Eleanor, double white feather Aska, but I don't have that, so I won't do it. And the idea is to mega buff Spinel to make kinda as broken as possible. I do this, and voila! Shred. Yeah, I really love this one, this strategy, but it is risky, guys. I have had to use potions on. I was farming with this because I didn't have a space to, save the builds for all the characters. So I farm all my points with this, still testing them, and unfortunately I had to use potions to some degree, so keep that in mind. There, as you can see, it's a huge amount of damage. I really like this, but it's risky nonetheless, so keep that in mind, and good luck with your runs. It is very fortunate that with the infirmary, now we don't have to worry about our characters dying as much as they did. And we just can revive them and even heal them. I cannot show you the amount here, but I have, I think, 300. Let's see, here. Yeah, I had almost 300 potions, the small potions, and that's all that you need, really. With that amount, it is easy just to continue farming, even if you fail. And even with these dangerous strategies that don't have as much HP recovery, I have to rely on others to recover the HP of Spinel, and that's not ideal, but it's working. So that's about it for today, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!